3I Atlas is the third interstellar object ever detected passing through our solar system. Since December 2025, the Sentinel Network has published 23 predictions and analytical calls about it. 12 of our predictions have been confirmed. 0 have been wrong. Then the week the most critical predictions became testable at Jupiter, every scientist studying this object stopped publishing. This is the receipts, a Sentinel Network exclusive investigation. On December 15th, 2025, we published that 3I Atlas was targeting Jupiter's Hill sphere. That is the boundary of Jupiter's gravitational control, 53.5 million kilometers out. We published that this was the perfect spot to leave probes. 3 months later, the object arrived at 53.6. Nature throws dice. Intelligence throws darts. 3 days later, we said institutions were smoothing the data on this object. We called it Anomaly 18, sanitized data streams. 6 confirmations arrived across 6 different institutional layers within 4 months. TESS, a $337 million space telescope, went into safe mode during the critical observation window. The European Space Agency deployed 5 instruments to study the object and reported 4. The missing one ran 12 days of particle measurements and reported nothing. NASA's JPL used 782 orbital observations when 7,578 were available. The sideways thrust disappeared in their version. All 4 SETI searches built their filters from that same curated orbit. Elsevier, the largest academic publisher on Earth, produced 2 papers in 10 months. Everyone else published 30. The day after our first briefing, we said the wobble in this object was attitude control, not random tumble, controlled orientation. 2 months later, a Harvard team found 3 jets at 120-degree separation, harmonically coupled, a locked 7.1-hour cycle for 4 consecutive nights. Then on December 27th, an overnight mode switch. Not a gradual change, a reconfiguration. We put 4 predictions on the record for Jupiter. Would the thrust change? Would the jets reappear? Would the brightness deviate? Would the chemistry shift? None can be tested. No post-Jupiter data has been published. No trajectory, no imaging, no photometry, no chemistry. The pipeline went silent during the most important phase of the encounter. We said the core of this object is passive. 80 to 90% of the water comes from thousands of kilometers away, not from the surface, from a surrounding field that behaves nothing like a comet. 6 independent teams confirmed it. 2 more killed the icy grain theory that was supposed to explain it. The comet model failed. We said chemical systems on this object activate at specific distances from the sun, not gradually like melting ice, like systems powering on. CN activated at 2.97 astronomical units. C2 appeared only outbound. Carbon monoxide and metals surged 5 to 10 times after its closest approach to the sun. Water held flat the entire time. 5 chemical systems, 5 different architectures. 1 object. We said the thrust profile flips as it passed the sun. We said inbound propulsion would be different from outbound. The transverse force flipped from positive 4.48 to negative 0.22. Jets switched from tight beams to wide fans. 3 chemical configurations across a single trajectory. The hull reads high nickel, low iron. That ratio matches superalloys used for radiation shielding, not cometary minerals. The particles around it are dense and compact. 2 different teams eliminated the icy grain explanation entirely. The carbon and oxygen are concentrated. Sulfur, the contaminant that poisons high-energy chemical systems, is completely absent, depleted beyond any known natural process. A fuel stock that reads refined, not raw, not natural, refined. We predicted the publication pipeline would go dark. The last paper on 3I Atlas was submitted March 26th. 18 days of total silence from a community that had been publishing every 2 to 3 days for 9 consecutive months. Observational papers, modeling papers, theoretical papers, all stopped at once. During the Jupiter encounter, we said the sunward jet was a retro rocket, a braking maneuver. 4 months after we published that interpretation, a team measured the actual gas velocities using the IRAM 30-meter telescope. Fast exhaust aimed at the sun, slow exhaust in the direction of travel. The braking profile matched exactly. We said the production field behaves like a cooling system. It expands under thermal load and contracts when overwhelmed. A NASA team found gas accelerating beyond anything their models could produce. They said so in their own paper. Water exits at a locked temperature of 34 Kelvin. It does not change with distance from the sun. No natural model explains this. 5 chemical systems, 5 architectures. Distance triggered activation. Water flat while everything else changed around it. These are not the signatures of a melting snowball. These are systems coming online at predetermined thresholds. Here is the Sentinel Network's assessment. 23 entries. 12 confirmed by independent teams using different instruments. 0 wrong. 4 cannot be tested because the community stopped publishing the week they became falsifiable. This publication has no telescope, no laboratory, no funding. It has the public record and the willingness to read what the press releases leave out. We are not asking you to trust us. We are asking you to check the data. The full briefing is on Substack. Link in the description. Keep looking up.